Before we know it, Loki Season 1 will be with us, and apparently the character is not going away anytime soon because multiple seasons are on the horizon. Now, recent rumors also suggest that we could be getting a pretty big cosmic MCU character showing up in the first season. So let's get to that and how this character was cut from Avengers Endgame. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the one above all, the creator himself, the Living Tribunal. So when it gets into the powers and what exactly the Living Tribunal can do, that's gonna get rather complex and it takes a lot of explaining. Let's just say that this character is pretty damn powerful, and if he shows up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, well, things are gonna go to hell or have gone to hell. To break it down simply for you, he's one of the most powerful cosmic entities in all of fiction, and specifically Marvel Comics. And he is more or less regarded as the safeguard / guardian of the multiverse, of all the multiverses. Now, what's important to know is that for Avengers Endgame, there was actually a cut scene that would have seen Doctor Strange get dragged through space and time and stand trial before the Living Tribunal. They decided to cut this because it didn't fit into what Avengers Endgame was doing, and instead was going to pay off more down the road. Now, the rumors coming at us is that the Living Tribunal will in fact be showing up in the MCU, and it will be in the first season of Loki, and that the Time Variant Authority sort of works underneath him in the MCU, and something has gone completely wrong that he needs his focus on, and that he will be the one that appears in front of Loki, or Loki appears in front of him. And this is why Loki's going all throughout different space, time, and the multiverse, and while he's occupied here with Loki, the other things are going haywire elsewhere in the MCU and the complete multiverse. So if this was the route they take, or the story they decide to do or implement in there, maybe they could do something like recently in the comics, well, I say recently, but in the last decade or so, where we actually saw the Living Tribunal get killed, and the Beyonder instead was kind of involved with that. Again, the Beyonder is another big cosmic being and responsible for, well, when things get out of hand, the Beyonder's not too far behind. So with all these things factoring into the multiverse, it expanding so many different corners of messing with time and going into other universes and Spider-Man and Deadpool and all that, it sort of does make sense if the character was to show up here, at least first off, to sort of tell us, hey, look, this cosmic side of things you're seeing right now, that's even being affected by what's happening down there on Earth with Doctor Strange and everybody else. It's much more grandiose. So as we continue to go into the multiverse and in the cosmic side of things with characters like Loki, Captain Marvel, and the Guardians, they can sort of start converging on these bigger cosmic entities to pay off down the road, inevitably when we get to the likes of Secret Wars. And I honestly will not be surprised if he shows up in Loki, because it just makes sense. I mean, Loki is literally doing what Doctor Strange was doing in Avengers Endgame, but at a bigger level. He was just peeking into possible futures and saying, this is the one that'll work, there's one that works, this is the one we do. Loki is going through history, committing heists and planting himself into God knows what problems and masking as God knows who. That's pretty big, considering that once you start messing with history, that brings on Kang. And Kang is just, good God. Man, I think I'm starting to see how this is all going to tie together, and it's going to get real complex real quick.